Secretary Roque mentioned about the Philippine economy, mostly 95% of our businesses, numbers of outlet establishment is the biggest is SME. So that's one. Second, to able to this SME to participate in digital transformation, we have a lot of things to consider. Basic infrastructure connectivity should be in place. You're talking about digital transformation without connectivity, but that's not yet cannot happen, right? That's parang kang bumili marami sa sasakyan, walang highway, right? That's happening. So that's number one requirement. Number two, I mentioned a while ago also about we need to upscale our talent, especially the young people. That's the hackathon is, right? So we went to different provinces. We make sure all the students enthusiastic about technology, about development. So they identify the local businessman and SME itself is the biggest. They're complaining about within the area of vicinity, what their challenges. This is your question about tools, about infrastructure, about outdated of government service, all this about this platform they have, right? So inconsistent of the delay of these things because of they're not properly equipped. So second, I mentioned about the digital infrastructure of computing, which is the cloud today. So we need to focus on build the cloud, which is Philippines. We have a lot of cloud provider now, but we need to put our cloud provider in the country to able to deliver this requirement tools for the SME. Imagine you don't need to invest, you don't need to spend any new technology side just only subscription for the cloud. And then you have platform. Kanina, mention natin about yung hackathon. We came out with a student from Basalata. They came out with the voice recognition. Just telling they're selling 2 pieces Coke and 1 CP. So they keep recording of this. And end of the day, they tally of the sales and the fast moving and including inventory, including the finances. So all these platforms, as joint developed by the DTI and the ICT, which is the hackathon held there already nationwide. And once this platform successful, DTI want this platform to give away to SME and let them use. So this is tools to able to be efficient, to be successful, and to be more profitable to them. Okay?
Sir, may ano po, follow up lang, sir. About naman sir sa social commerce, sir. This has been increasingly popular in recent years, sir. So social commerce is MSME's way, new market right now to sell their items since it's already integrated in social media, right? So what plans, sir, what PCCI's plans po, sir, to help our MSMEs, sir, to further elevate, sir, or further utilize po yung social commerce natin like TikTok Shop, Facebook Marketplace, and everything.
I think, first of all, we need to come out with this, Secretary Henry also here. We need to come up the framework and digital policy. Very important. Ayaw natin yung binibenta fake, tapos mamaya, you selling the item that cannot deliver. So all this should be put the framework and security for the consumer protection. That's one. Second, we need to encourage all this open is a marketplace. This is digital marketplace. Any big and small, they have their own item, they produce any product, they can go immediately to digital space to sell. And then there's a logistic company tie up with them to able to deliver. But before you come this, I think existing, it's a huge digital market already in Philippines, but there's still a lot of complaints. We check with the chat, all this sometimes dumating yung iba yung in order. So how we can avoid this protection of the consumer. So this should be in place also, not just growing this, but dual, we make sure all these SME have a place to sell the product also.
Thank you so much, sir.
Sir, hello po. TJ Mendoza from Netmoney News and Information. I'm just curious about the output for the upcoming conference in Expo. So a while ago, it was discussed that there will be a set of conference resolutions that will be formally presented to the government as one of the output. Aside from that, what are the things that we are expecting in terms of the outcomes of this expo?
One, we want to showcase solutions to the whole industry, not just public sector, including the IT, yung mga CIOs, CEOs, mga enterprise. What is the new technology and they can adapt to the Philippines, including the SME product also. So a lot of things, you have cybersecurity, you have many things to be able to have, can help them to move the digital transformation in different verticals.
And how ready is the Philippines in adopting AI in terms of business?
Well, we are really behind when compared to Asian company, right? But if we not start somewhere, lalo tayo magpag-iwanan. That's why we need to be faster. That's why this is a PCI came out with the technology vendors together with the government to showcase and to open eye to our Filipino end users.
And I'm just curious, sir, do we have a roadmap or a framework already to the government for us to cope up or to get along with the other Asian countries that's ahead of us?
Yeah, end of the day, with the president actually instructed the DOST and the ICT to come up with a framework for AI. No? So end of the day, we need to back to teaching, education, academic, every vertical support need to help. Right? So importante, babalik tayo sa education, sa mga school, academic, to give them what is relevant for the AM factories to able develop the vertical industries. Each vertical industries, they have a different expertise on this. So we need to create more immediate needs ng mga low-hanging fruit immediately we can see and then we can use the vertical industry so we can move forward faster.
That's for me, sir. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Luella Desiderio. I'm from Philippine Star. A while ago, Mr. Uy, you mentioned the three, you asked the SMEs about the three business challenges that they face. I'm just curious, just tying it back to the PBC, are we expecting to offer solutions on how to deal with these challenges? Like, maybe you can walk us through the process. What happens next after we've identified these challenges?
This came out by the hackathon. So SME is by our local chapters. So they are getting the difference of scenario problems of each areas. And we summarize this is the three major problem of the country. So while you asking about this, how we can have like LTU outdated system. The DICT is doing already EGO, right? So they're coming up with a lot of intervention of government efficiency, doing business, online application, all these things. So we will make sure PCCI and DICT with the development of each individual local government should be the same platform to use the platform to serve the public. That's immediately so convenient. Everywhere you go in other countries, when you want to serve, you're going to pay property tax, you just go to online. You don't need to go traditional in queue in the property tax office, get certification and pay, right? So this kind of services we can have one. No? The lack of machine and tools and growing risk. No? Yung mga lack of machine and tools, kung sabi ko kanina, because yung platform wala. So if you have a tool already in the cloud, you have already application in the cloud, and
hope, di ba? Tapos yung isa is yung pamilya po kayo, yung self-services. Kung makikita nyo po, from an affordability standpoint, lalabas po yung study namin by end of the year. And this is an ITU study, International Telecoms Union. Yung presyo po ng fiber optic to the home, halos na nalahati kumpara dun sa mga nakaraang panahon. Eh bakit po? Eh kasi madalas sila nagbibigay ng discount. At saka mainting yung competition ba? Ngayon kung matatanong nyo yung self-service, bumaba ng konti. Pero tingin ko mas bababa pa ng malaki yan. Pagka naging kapareho yan doon sa fiber na mas marami nagko-compete. Kasi sa fiber, mas marami nagko-compete, di ba? So yun yung adikain ng Konektadong Pinoy. Available, affordable. Tapos may pangatlo pa kayong karapatan. Karapatan nyo na kapag nagreklamo kayo, sasagutin kayo ng mabilis. Whether billing or service issue. Yan yung sinasabi ni Dennis na dapat strong regulation. Pagka lumabas po yung batas na yan, mamandato natin yan. Third, and importante, kasi dumaan po tayo sa mga baha recently, kapag ka may disaster, lindol, baha, o kung ano man yan, dapat available yung service. Gusto ko naman pasalamatan yung mga telco noong pong nakaraang bumagyo at bumaha. Kahit na walang kuryente, available naman yung telecom services kasi marami silang mga genset eh. So yun yung mga karapatan, yun yung mga kailangan nating tutukan. Ngayon, as Dennis has mentioned, we will work closely with the private sector, lalo na po sa mga telco. Alam niyo po, galing din ako sa telco industry. So alam po naman yung problema ng bansa natin. Archipelago siya, 7,600 island. Yung cost to implement at saka cost of service mataas talaga. Kaya tinatrabaho po natin yan na bumaba yung cost of service. At saka yung kapital, hindi biro yung kapital na pinapasok nila. So kanina, in-announce ko doon sa isang event, yung mga tower companies, pag nag-create sila ng tower, ang investment malaki, tapos yung tower, 25 to 50 years na nakatayo, pero isipin mo, ang license to operate nila 5 years lang. Saan ka naman nakakita nun? Thank you, boss. Saan ka naman nakakita nun? Nag-invest ka sa isang infrastructure na tatagal ng 25 to 50 years, tapos 5 years lang yung license to operate mo. So kami, maglalabas kami this week ng department order na dapat pag nag-renew sila at least 15 years. And yan din po mandato ng presidente na kailangan gawing investment friendly yung mga proseso natin. So doon sa usapin po ng Konektadong Pinoy, may mga iba-ibang opinion yung telco at saka gobyerno, pero at the end of the day, sabi nga ni Boss Dennis, kapag napirmahan ni Presidente yan, suportado yan. Kasi mahirap naman di ba? Yung Senado at saka Kongreso nagka-agree on a law, tapos pinirmahan ng executive, implementation na. And again, para po sa taong bayan yan.
Sir, siguro follow up na lang yung claim that this law is discriminatory for telcos, in particular to the open access provision. Yung law daw will supposedly allow incoming telco players to basically harness the existing network towers of telco players.
Alam mo, may isang magandang article si dating Finance Secretary Tevez. In-explain niya yung constitutionality ng batas. Tapos meron din si I think si Mr. Alampay, di ba, nagsulat din. Iaano ko na lang yan. I will leave it up to the legal professionals. Kasi nahati yung usapan kung depende kung sino kausap mo, di ba? Sa akin, simple lang Beyond the legal side, ano ba yung intention ng Konektadong Pinoy? Ang intention niya is, lumaki ba yung yung customer base? Kasi pag na-connect mo yung remaining 30% ng Pilipinas, ay di lalaki yung customer base mo. Tapos, kapag yung facilities na share ng maayos, na fair, na walang ma-disadvantage, di tataas yung utilization ng asset, di ba? So titignan ko na lang on that aspect, yung pababayaan ko yung mga abogado to figure it out. Pero marami-rami rin naman mga nagsasabi ng mga abogado na, at saka alam mo, Kongreso yan, saka Senado Pwede ba naman sila magpasa ng batas na feeling nila magkakaroon ng legal problem? Tingin ko, inaral nilang mabuti yan.
Sir, final question lang regarding yung 15 years sa tower. Will this be part of the Konektadong Pinoy or separate?
Hindi naman, hindi. Ano lang yun? So, hindi. Iba yan. Yan, with or without the Konektadong Pinoy, marami kaming ginagawa tulad ngayon. Meron kaming cooperation ng Converge on preventing cyber scam. May mga bagay-bagay naman kaming ginagawa bago pa yung KP. Pag dumating KP, magtutulungan din uli kami. Wala naman nagbago dun sa relationship ng industry and government.
Okay.
Just add on with the Secretary Henry mentioned about this infrastructure example. If you have a 3 telco, tatlong tower yan tatayuin mo. All of these 3 telco need to collect the revenue from consumer. If you imagine capex mo 3 times, 3 times na babawi yan longest time. If you put common, and the capex will become lower, and then we become cheaper to the consumer. Return of investment, that's normal in business, right? But if we put more infrastructure, and ikaw na gumagamit, hindi mo sinashare, the return of the investment become longer and longer. That's common sense. We have the international gateway, kanya-kanyang bill. If you share our international, in the event of resiliency, who going to protect? Protect the consumer. In case the outage yung isa, lahat ng switches, walang apektado sa consumer. So all this need to share. But with the agreement of between parties, right? If you use me, I use you, we just offset na lang. Para at least, we have redundancy, end of the day, efficiency, usage of the capex, end of the day, is beneficial to the consumer. Bababa presyo po, and beneficial, and efficiency. Yeah.
Hi sir, good afternoon. I'm Justine Padilla from Business World. First, Sir Aguda, can you tell us about the timeline for the 4th and 5th phases of the National Fiber Backbone?
Yeah, magandang tanong yan. So, yung phase 1, 2, 3, inaugurate ni Presidente nung last month sa Tacloban. And that is almost 2 years ahead of schedule. So, ang order naman sa amin ni Presidente, since nakabit natin ng Visayas at saka Luzon, tapusin naman ang Mindanao. So, yung Mindanao, nag-kick off na kami noong last month ng phase 4 and 5, kasama po World Bank. And then, kasama rin natin ang Converge dyan. So, pagtutulungan po natin ng Converge yan, na matapos yan bago yung next zona. Di ba po? Kaya yan. So, bago yung next zona next year, tapos na dapat yung phase 4 and 5. So, which means, connected na po yung Luzon, Visayas, tas Mindanao.
And sir, for Sir Dennis po, ask ko lang po sana yung status ng target for your 2 data centers.
The Caloocan, we are installing the application right now. October, we'll going to launch that one. The Angeles, the biggest one, by November is running. So this year. In fact, the Converge have pulled almost 25 billion capex to able to have up to submarine cable. One called Bifrost going to US. One is Inter-Asia, Philippines, Hong Kong, Singapore. This is independent gateway open up, and this is open to share to any telco. And that the data center itself is for computing. Caloocan is running now. The one in Angeles will be up. All this year, this is digital infrastructure to serve the Filipino by end of the year, total finish.
And sir, are there plans to to add more capacities next year?
It's demand rise, automatic, you need to build more. So we are planning to put besides Mindanao also. Because when you have a computing power to short distance, that's the best solution for the consumer and the enterprise also.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, Sir Dennis. I'm Bernie of Logistics News PH. So you mentioned earlier about strong regulatory framework, and you're tying this up with the IRR of the Konektadong Pinoy. What are the provisions you're looking at to tighten, whatever concerns raised by the telcos?
Standardization, important yan, is protect consumer protection. But once that they offer the product to consumer, it should be standard. Mamaya pops yan. Mamaya patay sindi. Mamaya wala man siyang proper capability. Saan pinutol yung tablet, ninakaw lang yan, tapos dinagay ka sa salugan, nagbenta na naman sila sa inyo. So all this should be regulated. Hindi siya sa regulations. Capitalization, make sure manpower can equip to serve our consumer. All of this should be consumer protection. Hindi yung today, nandiyan bukas, hindi mo na makita. nabibiktim yung ating consumer.
Walang
Right?
fly-by-night.
Yeah, and second, our cybersecurity is so important. So make sure all the operator to have capability to protect our consumer. So yung network niya to make sure meron silang cybersecurity, hindi yan pupunta ng mga spam, all these things. Marami regulation you need to, not just on, I just only mention few, but there's a lot of things need to do.
Okay, to Sir Aguda. Sir, yung 15 years na sinasabi niyo, that will be part of the IRR ba? Ang ibig mong sabihin?
No, hindi na
It's not-
kailangan.
it's not.
Iwalay po yan sa
Iwalay.
department order lang yan.
So,
Oo.
already issued the
Hindi pa. This week will finalize.
Okay.
Tapos, kailangan lang kami dumaan ng final consultation with the tower companies. Pero nakausap ko po yung mga tower companies, gusto nila yan. So sabi nila, they're organizing now as an industry group. And as soon as they're organized, baka yan yung una naming i-discuss na event ba nila na they can now be, kasi ang kasama dyan, ang hiningi ko ang hiningi ko, extend namin pero bilisan nyo naman pag-construct ng mga tower. So yun yung kasama doon.
Okay, so this will appease them yung cost of,
Oo. Isipin mo, sino naman mag-i-invest sa inyo kung halimbawa, hihingi ka ng investment para gumawa ka halimbawa ng bahay, tapos pwede mong gamitin yung bahay 5 years lang. Medyo, mahirap.
Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. Oswald Campos from Manila Standard. Sir Dennis, can you give us an update dun sa connections ng internet connections via Starlink, and are you also eyeing similar agreements with other service providers?
Yeah, I think right now we're providing backbone for them nationwide. Imagine we welcome, because the satellite operation is coexist with fiber, especially in disaster time. Satellite just pull it out and right away connection, right? But the quality you cannot compare with fiber. Fiber is still the best. Even expensive a bit, but better than nothing in terms of a disaster, right? So if you have government prepare our disaster to put this mounted with the vehicle, in once the disaster strike us, we right away we have a communication. How many lives we can save? So that's so important, no? So rollout, I think the price is still pricey. So if any consumer in the urban area, I don't think they will get this satellite, except they have a mission critical to able have redundancy usage. That's only I can see the market is. But we are collaborate with them in terms of enterprise for redundancy. A lot of regional offices, Hulu, so far we don't have a connection. Even Batanes, we need to provide some multi-branches connectivity. Without the fiber, we give them a satellite for a combination of services.
So may similar agreements kayo with other
Yes, yes. I think we focus on more enterprise. I don't have consumer.
enterprises?
More in enterprise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alin?
Alam niyo na, di ba, marami kayong nagiging problema sa scams, financial scams. Yung biglang makaka-receive kayo ng text, tapos may link. Unang-una, huwag kayo mag-click-click pagka may link. Tapos narinig niyo na yung mga IMSI catcher. So ito po yung mga ginagawa namin sa DICT ngayon. And thank you to Boss Dennis. We will sign another agreement on protecting the public from financial scams. Marami pong mga website dyan na nagpre-pretend na legit pero hindi legit. Ngayon naman, sa DICT, talaga tanggal kami ng tanggal. So reaction time naman namin, mabilis. Pero magaling yung yung technical team ng Converge. Nakipag-meet na po kami sa kanila. We will implement more advanced mechanism para proactive na yung mga site blocking at saka yung mga filtering. So, iyan po yung pag-uusapan namin ngayon para sana, bago matapos ang taon wipe out na yung mga scammers. Oo.
Imagine before, so many child pornography sites, right? So ngayon, nakita nyo, talagang totally More than 20 plus thousand sites ng pinatay ng network namin. Because we participate with the UN
Internet Watch.
Internet Watch Foundation. There is a private organization to monitor all these things. So if you want to do it with the government, with private sector, we can combat all these illegal things for our country. We just be proactive and be alert and teach. Sabi ko nga kay Sec, we need to go back to education for the primary pa lang information. You not 100%, but student can be educated. Parang pop-up na lang bibigyan ng konting attraction kiklik na nila. So yung mga unnecessary, we can avoid all these things. This proper education also.
So, because the Honorable Secretary is here and Sir Dennis is here, we are taking advantage of this opportunity. As you know po, online safety is a strong advocacy of Converge. This is something that we have been pushing for many years. Because we have almost 2.7 million subscribers, we really aim to protect each and every one of them and their families from not only from the outside but now also against online scams. So, dahil pinaghandaan natin itong signing na to, we have a ceremonial light up of the boxes. Pero yeah.
15 years pa rin
Yan, hawakan niyo lang. Okay. Hindi natin ito nag-read. Ayan. Okay, alam natin mangyayari ito today. Alright. Fuck you. Alright, 3, 2, 1. Let's light it up. Yay! Yay! Okay, picture. Okay. And thank you so much, Secretary, for joining us.